Hello and happy Tuesday, which is of course my book reviews day. And today I would like to talk to you about Pennies from Heaven, a novel by James P Blaylock. This particular edition that I'm showcasing in the video is the signed edition from PS Publishing, but a trade edition is also available. I'll talk more about the edition after we're done talking about the book itself. And man, I have a diverging opinion on this novel. Not that my opinion diverges from others, but it can go one of two ways depending on whether it's intentional or unintentional. And let me explain. Pennies from Heaven is categorized by PS Publishing as mystery and supernatural fiction. Even the blurb on the back here talks about, on that ominous morning in autumn, shadows descend over the deceptively quiet neighborhoods of Old Orange, ushering in a flood of chaos, terror, and murder. That sounds pretty serious, right? This novel is not serious. And I'm hoping that is the intention. I unfortunately actually haven't read anything else by James P Blaylock. I've read stuff by his friend Tim Powers. Love Tim Powers. But my understanding is that Blaylock isn't quite serious at times. At least that's my understanding of this. And if that's the case, if this is very much a tongue-in-cheek, almost kind of farcical in a way, then he nailed it. This novel was funny as hell. But if he had meant it to be serious, if, as PS Publishing puts it, it's supposed to be a supernatural mystery, it's, the murder and chaos and terror, and then, man, did he miss the mark. So it really kind of, diverges based on, whether it was intentional or unintentional. Did he unintentionally write a absolutely downright horrible mystery, or did he intentionally write an enjoyable farce of a mystery in which the characters are very cartoonish in a way? So, Pennies from Heaven, it takes place within Orange, California, which is where James Blaylock currently resides, which, is suddenly struck by an earthquake. And while investigating the damage to the foundation of their house, Jerry Larkin, one of the three protagonists, I should say, one of those three protagonists, point of view characters being the antagonist, so maybe that's not really correct in seeing protagonist, but you know what I mean. Jerry Larkin discovers some old coins and other objects under his house, and in doing so, he attracts the attention of Letty Phibbs, who is our other point of view character, who's the antagonist, who is very much cartoonishly evil, kind of your dastardly twisting your mustache kind of 1950s villain, your Cruella de Vil wanting the puppies for herself. She's a very vain individual. She has a very dark and mysterious past that you are going to learn about as the reader, and she wants the buried treasure that she believes is under the house for herself. So that's two of the protagonists, two of the point of view characters. I should say point of view characters, narrators, not protagonists. Protagonist isn't necessarily accurate. The third being Jane, Jerry's wife. She is trying to help her co-op, her small little co-op that she started in Orange, California, trying to make the co-op flourish. And I hate to say it, I don't want to talk about Jane, because Jane is a pretty boring character. She is the every woman, which, kind of makes sense in a tale like this. You need your straight woman, your straight man. But she didn't really add anything to the novel itself other than, being married to Jerry, and being involved with the, daily interactions with Letty Phibbs. It's really Jerry and Letty that completely drive the narrative here. Jerry, so this is a modern time novel, by the way. Jerry is decades older than his actual age. He has the demeanor and the mentality and the vocabulary of some 1950s, crime caper character. It's he's older than his days. He's got a flip phone in this age of smartphones. But he speaks exclusively in puns and play on words and witty dialogue that it's almost smarmy in a way. But it's an enjoyable kind of smarminess, as long as, it's intentionally like that. If it's supposed to be like an actual endearing character in a very serious mystery, then, man, he missed the mark there. As I mentioned, Letty Phibbs is almost comically cartoonish, almost like Cruella de Vil. And one of the things the novel will do constantly throughout its pages is tell, not show. Obviously, within novels, you want to show, not tell. You don't want to have a heavy-handed description. James P Blaylock says, to hell with that. I am going to tell the hell out of this novel. There is an instance where Jerry and Jane find Letty Phibbs spying on them. Oh, there's actually... this is not the same chapter, but this is Letty watching through the kitchen window as Jerry drove away. But they catch her spying on them, and how is this relayed to you, the reader? This is relayed by Jerry turning to Jane and saying, did you see that? That looked like Letty Phibbs. She was wearing a bad wig and looking at us through binoculars right over there. Like, it's so heavy-handed with its description that it's hilarious. And that's why I'm kind of split on it. I mean, he's won awards. I mean, he's written for decades, so it has to be intentional, right? Like, in which case, like, it almost reminds me of like a Coen Brothers caper. Think like Burn After Reading or Raising Arizona, where, it's these people trying to do some sort of little crime caper and things aren't going well, and it's humorous in that regard. Another great example, this one was it caused me to literally roll my eyes, but it was eye-rollingly funny as well. Jerry goes to the store for something, and he gets a discount on the thing at the store because the cashier had a past relationship with Jane, his wife. And he's telling this to her, and he goes, hey, who was cashing at the store? It was Bob Smith. And then she, straight-faced, says to Jerry, oh, Bob Smith, we used to date 30 years ago, and the relationship didn't work out, and here's our history completely laid out. Well, it's like, clearly Jerry knows this. That's why he brought up, that's who cashed out. This is very much for the reader themselves being handed this exposition-laden dialogue that would be horribly written in a serious novel, but hilariously written in a, like I said, farcical kind of crime caper. And that's why I'm thinking it leans towards that end of the spectrum. So if you're looking for almost a Coen Brothers kind of comedy in novel form, where the characters, particularly Jerry and Letty, are would have appeared decades older than they should be, appearing back in like a 1950s crime caper, think almost slapsticky in a way without being truly slapstick, then Pennies from Heaven is something you should check out. But if it was truly meant to be a serious mystery with supernatural, then wow, it missed the mark on that instance. Supernatural, by the way, there is a little bit of ghosts in the novel, but it doesn't really add anything to the plot itself other than being a plot device. I guess it does kind of relate to the final chapters and what happens in the final chapters. But it's by no means a supernatural novel. It just occasionally has supernatural instances within it. But yeah, like I said, as long as it's like a tongue-in-cheek read, I think you'll enjoy Pennies from Heaven. Like I say, it should be available at least in both a signed edition from PS Publishing. Of course, it was 200 copies. This is a PC copy. It does have a trade edition through PS Publishing through their drugstore Indian paperback line. I imagine there's got to be trade editions out there beyond PS Publishing and drugstore Indian Press. But weirdly enough, all I'm familiar with here, even though he's a U.S. author, are the UK editions. But hey, it's cheap enough. I picked up this PC copy from their clearance site for very cheap, a few bucks. The shipping to the U.S. actually cost more than the novel itself did. I believe they actually still have some copies left, linked in the description below to it if you want to pick it up, as well as a link to the actual site for the full price copies. Funny enough, I actually had planned on doing, so I actually read two novels this past week. One being Pennies From Heaven, the other one being a short kind of novella, also from PS Publishing. And I was originally going to post this as a bonus review. I do one review a week on Tuesdays. If I have a bonus review, I'll throw the bonus review in a couple days later. I was actually going to do a bonus review for this on Friday, this past Friday, and I hadn't uploaded it yet, so I needed to finish, recording it. And Friday morning, PS Publishing sent out their weekly newsletter, and in that newsletter, they announced the sequel to Pennies From Heaven. This is from 3 years ago, and they announced, oh man, what is the name called? I think it had like ghosts in the name. But they announced the sequel to Pennies From Heaven that they're also doing. And I'm like, well, that is just the funniest timing. I was literally planning on doing this review, but then I was like, you know what? I gotta read up on the sequel, and mention that in the video here. It'd be doing disservice to not say there's a sequel coming out through PS Publishing that will follow the further adventures of Jane and Jerry. Once again, PS Publishing has that product described as mystery and supernatural, which, I mean, I don't agree with, but, PS Publishing doesn't really publish comedic novels, so maybe that's why. But yeah, it'll be interesting to check out the sequel. I probably won't buy it unless I see it pop up on the clearance site, because, I like their clearance site. But hey, if it pops on the clearance site, I'll definitely pick up a copy. And I'll do a review for that one as well. I hope they make Jane a more interesting character, and I hope Jerry is as goofy as he was in this, because it was enjoyable, even though, like I said, it felt out of place for a serious mystery, but enjoyable for what it was. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I do, as I mentioned, one book review a week, plus plenty of unboxing videos in between here and there. Check out James P Blaylock, check out PS Publishing, and we'll see you around next time.